let's talk about songs just for a second. So the songs that you performed, especially one, of course, 1,000 songs, right? Can you talk about that song just for a little bit?
Songs are spiritual to me, some more than others. This is one that is very important to me because I guess approximately 15 years ago, I was in a very bad way. And a friend of mine from high school, he had joined the Army. He'd been fighting overseas to protect all of us. And I needed a place to go. And I had nowhere or no one. And he stepped up and took me in. As soon as he got back from protecting our country, I was living on his couch, and while I'm there, his wife left him right after he got back from Iraq. And I watched this guy who fought battles and won and spent all of his time taking care of us. I mean, even as soon as he get back from war, bringing me in, he's still trying to protect people. And I watched him get crushed after fighting, and it was a very heartfelt moment, is the best way that I can put it. And he came in and he wrote a poem, and this is a guy he was a staff sergeant at the time. I mean, he's trained and he's a hard, he's just tough. And he wrote this poem on the back of the cable bill. I guess not for anyone, but just to get it out. Of course, I'm living there, so I found it. And when I picked it up and read it, I thought, this is the first time I've ever seen this kind of emotion truly poured out on paper like this. And I took it and turned it into the song, 1,000 Songs. Because, I mean, it's a situation that happens so much to military.
Absolutely.
Really, and it's not the woman's fault either, because they're alone. They're left alone. So there's two sides to it, and I witnessed both sides of this. But they both lose for sacrificing for all of us. So it's truly touching.
Different form of casualties of war.
And
Absolutely.
when I wrote the song, I didn't realize that there was such an epidemic of this until all the military started coming forward, because they understood it and it meant something to them. But we don't see how the military helps us a lot. We just see what shows on the news. But I really can say that the Army has saved my life. I mean, he saved my life when I needed it the most, when he didn't have to. He was not on the clock. He just stepped up as what makes America great.
So, and it seems like all the songs on the record, which is amazing, have that deep personal connection. Some are fun, some are deep, and some have they come from scars. And the experience of that. So the songwriting part of it is definitely, I mean, people can read into it. You can tell fake, right?
Yeah.
You guys have this realness to you that is amazing, actually. And
thank you.
It was amazing, to listen to the songs, and I know that everybody, in this area will be blown away by the messages and just the the performance quality of it, and then the heartfelt, there's all these different emotions that go into it, and watching you guys have fun on stage. What's next? What's on the horizon this year? 2015,
Well, we will be doing a tour this year at some point later. I mean, I sing for Saving Abel also, and we are going out on January the 7th for another long tour. So, I mean, we toured the whole year this year. But the Saving Abel record we've put out, you guys should pick that up. I got them to put 2 of our Trash the Brand songs on there. It's a compilation, so you have 2 Trash the Brand songs. We're just trying to get West Tennessee music out. I mean, like when Carl Perkins was around, he worked hard to keep the arts together here. And after he passed, it kind of separated. The whole time we were in the Smoking Jackets and the Grove, it was like people supported music, but all of a sudden we started Trash the Brand. And it's like Jackson kind of started rallying behind us like a sports team. And once again, I'm not an experienced singer, so I make mistakes. in front of people all the time.
So does Peyton Manning too. You know, and it's like, you know.
But
it's
I
like,
think
That's what keeps it real.
I
too.
think
Keeps it-
yeah, but I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you know, I mean, Jackson is ready to make their mark again.
Absolutely.
And they've wanted me to get out there because I'm mouthy, I guess, and they supported me, and I'm willing to preach the gospel of how amazing this place is. And I've talked it all over the country this year. I'm going to Jackson. Oh, I can't say that. Dang it.
I think it's less than 8 bars, so you're good.
I don't know if it's the hook.
Less than 8 bars. Mississippi Bound. It's got some grit to it. It's got some attitude. Where'd that song come from?
That song came differently. It wasn't just a spur of the moment. I wrote that guitar part when I was probably 16. And it just stuck with me. And then we were in the Smoking Jackets. Me and Josh Singleton started writing it and didn't finish it. And then Jonathan came in later when we were at the Grove, and we wrote a couple more lines of it. Years passed, and then I wrote the second verse, and we recorded it on the record. So it's really kind of a collection of our work over the last 20 years. You know, it's about being on the road, because when we started, it seems like the only place out of Tennessee we could get gigs was in Mississippi. It was like every time we left the state, it was to Mississippi. The only place we could get into was Mississippi, up and down it.
All right, all over it.
So it was like,
And there's a lot of Mississippi musicians now coming to Jackson too. And
Right.
and so we are making this relationship with West Tennessee and North Mississippi.
Tennessee.
Now.
yeah, that's with the Saving Abel. We actually
Yeah.
coined the term Tennessippi.
Yeah.
It's almost a foreign exchange program.
That's great. I mean, and that song was basically written over many years.
Yeah, and it was the last pick to put on the record too, because I didn't want to record it because I didn't know if it would be good enough. And now that I listen back to the record, it truly is one of my favorites because it tells a story of my life, really. So,
I think did y'all play that with? Is this the first band that you played that with?
yeah, no, we've never
Well,
never played
I
it.
think the cool thing about our record, about our songs, stuff, every song, when we went into the studio, basically it was Scotty with an acoustic guitar. I mean, we hadn't rehearsed, maybe one or two of the songs before we actually went into the studio. So I think that's some of the magic. We talked about magic earlier too, about things happening. Is like we got in the studio and working with a producer from Memphis, Justin Reimer at Cross Tracks, and listening to Scotty sit in there and play the acoustic, and the two of them working together, and then I would come in and do my part, and it was all built in that little train station in Cordova. I mean, everything from grass up. So I mean, that's kind of kept the rawness, and we didn't have all these songs that we went out and been playing for 6 months to a year and had time to rehearse.
Yeah, I really didn't expect people to like the songs that much. I wrote them just through the years, and they just stuck with me, and I just kind of sang them to myself and my friends. And Scott kind of pushed me, along with a good friend, Jeff Walls, to try to do this. And I have a 4-year-old son. And after I had him, I decided, well, it doesn't matter if I'm good at this. I want him to be able to hear this after my hands and voice quit. So I wanted to lay it down. So these songs were just picked because I wanted to make sure he could hear them when he was older. And now here I am, talking to you. This is weird.
You released a YouTube video as well, The Devil's Ride. That one has a different feel to it. It's like you had a different approach to that. Maybe explain a little bit about that.
I had a terrible drug addiction years ago. And I had a fella move in with me because my power was turned off and I had no money because I spent it all on drugs. He's like, I'll pay the electric bill if I can stay in your guest room. Absolutely you can. Well, I was at such a low spot because the song is a cry for help is what it is. I mean, the line, please, please, somebody save me. You don't give the devil a ride because once you do, he is going to end up driving. And they showed up for him and I ran outside and I was like, help me. I really did. I told them, please help me. I'm sick. And one of the officers did. I don't remember his name. He always had sunglasses on. I remember his last name was Gurley, and he saved my life. He helped me, and he showed up, and he was like, came back, and he's like, okay, well, check yourself into rehab, or I'm going to arrest you and have a judge put you in one. So I started calling rehab centers, and none of them would take me because they're like, well, apparently your problem's not that bad, or you wouldn't be calling us. And I finally found one to take me, which led me to my friend in the Army. So 1,000 Songs and Devil's Ride, to be such a contrast, came out of the exact same episode.
Movie, yeah.
Sickness, like you said, Scars.
Yeah.
That one was in the middle of it, but that song it came immediately, unlike Mississippi Bound. It was like I was sitting there terribly sick.
So the last song we talk about today, Damn Show Talk About You. And I have to think when I say it, because it's West Tennessee, you know.
Well, that's not what I said. That's how it ended up wrote on the record.
Yeah.
I'm like, I did not say show. Maybe I did. But in my mind, it was SURE.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much self-explanatory. It came straight up. And that's the one that really kicked this whole thing into gear, because everyone could relate to it. Because we spent so much time kissing each other's butt to our face and then talking behind our backs. Yeah. Like, I just had to come to terms with it. It's like I was talking about music already. You know, people are going to hate you regardless for no reason, because, well, they're angry at themselves generally. But you just can't make everybody happy. So feel free to talk about me. I'm a bad boy, and I'm okay with it.
So what's the future of the music business? What's going on with you guys? What do you see it happen? You know, what's happening? Do you see any future in it?
Music industry itself?
Yeah, the music industry itself.
Oh man, huge paradigm shift since the internet and Napster came in, and now the record labels are hurting. I think the days of the traditional record deals have kind of dwindled. But I see, Scotty was one of the ones that told me this a long time ago, and it's really great. I mean, the Grateful Dead's been one of the most highest grossing bands, ever, pretty much, year after year consistently, and they've done it simply by giving their music away for free and then making the money off their concerts and their shows and merchandise and things. So seeing that aspect of the change between back in the day when you were really so concerned about, getting your BMI and ASCAP and making sure that you get your monies off of when you get your spins played, but it's kind of flipping now,
Well, it's going back to, it's going to go back to the live show, I think. I think it's going to end up good, because, it's going to come back down to ticket sales, and music's not going anywhere. It would be a really quiet world. We think the world sucks right now. Take music away. And music is cultural. We have a definitive style here, but, you go to Asia, and it's completely foreign. Like, the space a lot of time is the music between notes there, which to us is so foreign. And then ragas, Middle Eastern ragas, they have 17 notes in their scale. We don't even have that on our instruments.
And you have a different raga for each part of the day.
Yeah, and the salsa music, it comes down to, like, all of these salsa grooves are based on religious figures.
But even beyond that, what you now have is because of technology, it's opened up all these different ideas and these different ways to experience sound and music. I was watching a TED Talk with a producer and his brother who have been doing this geotagged music where the music actually changes. It's an app on a phone, and the music changes depending on your path through, whether it's Central Park or the Grand Gallery in DC, and they're composing more geotag pieces for places all over the country. And that's just one example of how easy it is now to think outside the box and follow an idea to its logical conclusion and carry it out just with the technology at hand, and the people that are doing beat jazz, with their smartphones and different controllers. And I mean, really, the sky's the limit. If you can dream it, chances are you can do it.
I think they've tried to subcategorize music too much. It's too many. They're breaking it into too many genres.
I'm hoping that this the end effect of technology and music will be the smashing of genres and really the ability to look beyond that, because I think it really is. It's so much bigger than that, and the problem with the current marketing paradigm is that it can't think any bigger than it's thinking, yeah, and it's up to us as the artists to show them a different way, and a way that could be financially viable. Because as soon as they see it's financially viable, they'll do it our way.
Well, I've circled the country 3 complete times this year. Music isn't going anywhere.
No.
And everybody out there that shows up is just like us.
That's great. And I know we're running out of time, so I'd like to, again, personally thank you guys. I'm honored. I think what you guys are doing is amazing. Scotty, Scott, Dave, I have high props for you. I'm glad to be sitting here with you guys. And
Well, we're
I
truly
appreciate
honored to be able to be the first artist
Absolutely,
on this
the
show.
inaugural show.
Let's keep it going.
And I'm going to say this real quick too. It's like it's amazing where we've ended up here today, and where we're going in the future. When it started, at the Tap Bar and Grill, just me and Scotty playing acoustic as 2 people. And so we want to give props to the Tap.
Oh, of course we do.
Place where we
Oh,
started.
this was completely unexpected for me. I just got the call, last minute.
I fire Dave every couple of weeks.
Well, if there's been an up-and-coming band in Jackson in the last 20 years, chances are I've been fired from it.
This was more times than most.
Yeah, you might hold the record.
I do.
Having me back and then firing me.
Well, I appreciate you guys being here.
We're truly honored. Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
And check them out online. They have YouTube. You can get their music online at their website, trashthebrand.com.
Correct.
And tons of stuff online about their upcoming projects. Just keep up with them. Keep West Tennessee music going. And check you out later. Rock on.
Exit 82 airs weekly directly following Saturday Night Live.